Bueno, pues muy buenos días a todas las personas que se empiezan a unir a esta sesión informativa con Newcastle University. Mi nombre es Karen Martínez, yo soy parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales de Colfuturo y el objetivo básicamente de esta sesión es pues brindarles a todos ustedes las herramientas, la información fundamental para que conozcan datos fundamentales de las instituciones académicas con las que Colfuturo tiene convenio. Queremos contarles que pues precisamente en este mes de agosto vamos a estar realizando webinars con las universidades del Reino Unido e Irlanda. Entonces, si sus planes académicos están encaminados en realizar algún tipo de posgrado en estos países, pueden unirse a nuestras sesiones tranquilamente. El día de hoy nos acompaña Lucy Elsden. Ella es representante de Newcastle University y nos brindará información súper importante y valiosa sobre oferta académica, sobre financiación, procesos de admisión, hospedaje y recomendaciones en general que les van a ser de gran utilidad. En adición, pues les quiero recordar y también abordaremos a lo largo de esta sesión información relativa al convenio que tiene esta universidad con Colfuturo, que consta particularmente de un descuento del 20% sobre el valor de la matrícula para todos los beneficiarios de Colfuturo en programas de maestría y doctorado. Cabe pues recalcar que si tienen alguna duda, inquietud, comentario, pueden ponerlo en el cajón de Q&A y los vamos a estar respondiendo a lo largo de la sesión. Obviamente, al finalizar la presentación de Lucy, ella va a estar respondiendo algunas de sus preguntas. Así que sin más preámbulos, le doy la palabra a Lucy. Lucy, thank you so much for being here. So you can go ahead and start with your presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me as well. Y hablo un poco de español, entonces voy a hacer la presentación en inglés para que todo sea muy claro, pero si tienen preguntas, pueden hacerme preguntas en español o si no entienden, sí, puedo intentar explicarlo en español también. Pero sí, entonces en inglés, I'm going to share my screen.
Perfect.
Um, so let me know if you can see that.
Yes, Lucy, it's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so as Karen said, I'm Lucy. I'm the International Recruitment Officer for Latin America here at Newcastle University. And I'm from Newcastle University, so I know a lot about the city and I've worked here for quite a while. So I'll just be talking a bit about what it's like as a city and then what academic programs we offer, the type of student life you'll get here, and then also our relationship with Col Futuro and funding opportunities as well. So, to start, I'm just going to talk about the city itself. So, it's a very lively, friendly student city. There's actually two universities in Newcastle. So, there's about 60,000 students, and you can really feel the student atmosphere throughout the city. And we're very welcoming towards students. The local people are very friendly towards students and very used to students. In terms of where Newcastle is, so obviously I know when people think of the UK, they normally naturally think of London, which is the capital. But we are here where the black pin is. We're in the northeast of England, so it's a very, very beautiful part of the country. We're surrounded by a lot of countryside, but it's a really nice, big, vibrant city. And we're also on the coast, so we're next to the beach. We're very well connected to the rest of the UK, so you can get to London on the train in 3 hours. You can get to Manchester in 2 hours, for example, and you can get to Edinburgh in Scotland in about an hour and a half. And we've got a train station right in the center of the city, about 15 minutes walk from campus. So it's really, really easy for students to visit other cities in the UK whilst they're here, which is an important part of your student experience. We also have an international airport, which is about 20 minutes from our campus, and you can get there on our underground train system. So it's a bit like the tube in London, but we have our own version in Newcastle as well. And the airport's really good. You can get to a lot of European destinations with direct flights. So, for example, I've recently been to Italy direct. You can get there in about 2 hours. And then you can get to most other places via Amsterdam. So I've been to Bogota, for example, and I went Newcastle to Amsterdam and then Amsterdam to Bogota. In terms of the city again, so it's the third best student city in England and top 40 globally. So it is known around the world for being very, very welcoming for students. It's also a more affordable city, especially in comparison with other cities in the UK. So it's much more affordable than London, for example, but also Manchester and other bigger cities in the UK, which is obviously an important thing to consider for students. It's a very safe and friendly city. So the local people are very friendly towards students. And also, we don't have many issues with safety. The university also has a lot of security guards around. We have our own police at the university. And there's also applications students can access for safety. We're a hub for innovation, technology, advanced manufacturing, and the arts. So there are a lot of free art museums that students can go into. And we're also getting a lot more investment in the city, which is really good for industry links and graduate prospects after university. Believe it or not, we're actually one of the driest cities in the UK. So we're on the north-east coast, which is actually a lot drier than the west of the UK. So it does rain sometimes, but not as much as people might think. And we also have a lot of bars, restaurants, and theatres. And every year we're actually getting a lot more Latin American restaurants. So there's quite a few Mexican restaurants in the city centre, which are really good as well. And yeah, hopefully some Colombian restaurants in the future. These are just some pictures of the city to give you an idea of what it looks like. So I like this one because it shows you how compact it is, which is really useful for students. So you can really easily walk around Newcastle city centre. You don't need to use transport within the centre. There is transport available and it's really cheap for students, but everything's quite close together. This is the river, and Newcastle is famous for all of the bridges that go over the river. There's seven, and they light up at night time. So it's a really popular area for students because there's a lot of bars and restaurants that you can go to along the river. This is what the city centre looks like. So this is where the shops, bars, and restaurants are. So it's just very pretty architecture, Old English architecture. And then some of you might know Newcastle for the football team. So we have a very famous football team, and we've actually had some Colombian players in the past. But our stadium, St. James's Park, is right next to our business school campus. So the business school actually looks onto the stadium, and it's really nice because it's in the city centre. So when there's a match on, there's a really, really good atmosphere. And even if you're not a football fan, I would definitely recommend trying to go and see a match. In terms of our campus, I think something I love about Newcastle is that it's quite unique because it's a city centre campus. So you really feel like you're part of the city, you're mixing with locals, and that's quite rare. So we've got two sides of the campus. This is the more traditional side, the red brick, really pretty buildings. And this is where the humanities and social sciences faculties are, and also our medical faculties. This is the other side of our campus, which is a recent development. It's called the Helix, and it was a £500 million investment. So it's our business school and computing school, but also mixed in with a lot of local offices and businesses, which is really important because it creates good industry links for finding a work placement or finding a graduate job after university. Because I think you'll have known if you research and coming to study in the UK, but if you graduate, you can get onto a graduate visa, which allows you to stay in the UK for 2 years after graduating. And then this is a picture I like to show just again to show you how close everything is together. And how easy it is to get around Newcastle. So from one side of the campus to the other side of the campus, it's about a 20-minute walk. And you can also see we've got some really nice parks and green spaces just behind the campus, which students like to go to in the summertime because there's a lot of food and music festivals, but also in between lectures just for a nice break. In terms of how multicultural we are very multicultural. So we have over 120 nationalities and 500 international students. Each year we have a lot more Latin American students as well. So this year, for example, from Colfuturo, we had three Colfuturo students and then about 10 more Colombian students. Then our staff are also quite diverse. So we've got 25% of the staff from outside of the UK. We also have a very good reputation around the world. So we're a global top 130 university, and we make up part of the Russell Group. So the easiest way to explain this is it's basically the UK equivalent to the Ivy League in the US. So it basically means that we're one of the best universities in the UK. We're also a top 10 UK university for sport. So we have about 65 different sports clubs, and you can compete in sport. We are third best student city in England, and we're also top 90 in the world for employer reputation. So our students are sought after by employers. And to help with this, we have a really, really good career service. So all students will have access to our career service whilst they're a student, but also 3 years after graduation. If you're a business student, you'll also get a separate career service as well with more services, and they can help you create a CV, apply to jobs, apply to internships. And I've just put images of a few of the companies that our students have gone on to work for. So you can see some really big companies. In terms of our academic offering, so we offer over 300 types of degree programs, and everything is listed on our website as well. And I will give you my email address so that you can ask me specific questions about specific degrees as well. But all of our degrees are separated into three faculties. So the first one is the Humanities and Social Sciences faculty. So within this, here are all of the different schools, and then within the different schools are all of the different types of degrees. I think the good thing about this faculty, and quite a unique thing about studying in the UK as well, is that you can do a joint degree. So you can mix some of these subjects. So for example, you can do a business degree with languages, or you can mix history with art, for example, and you can take modules from different degrees. Um, Newcastle University Business School as well also has a lot of different degrees, so market and finance, um, accounting, for example, and at master's level, they're much more specific as well. The next faculty is the Science, Agriculture and Engineering faculty. So this is obviously all of the engineering degrees, environmental sciences and computing degrees. So at master's level as well, our computing degrees are very specific. We have software engineering, games design. And then the final faculty is the medical sciences faculty. So this is obviously medicine, dentistry, but also Master of Pharmacy, for example. And these are just a few of the subjects that we're ranked in the world top 100 for. So we're a well-ranked university in general, but then in terms of our subjects, our degree programs are also very, very highly ranked. Now for entry requirements. So for master's degrees, which in the UK they're 1 year generally, which again is another advantage because I know in a lot of other countries they're at least 2 years. But we ask for a 2-2 or a 2-1 equivalent. You'll see those grades a lot, and they are basically the UK bachelor's degree grades. But I've put down the equivalent for the Colombian degrees. And again, if you've got any questions, then you just need to let me know. And then for research degrees, which we call PhD degrees, you need a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. But again, depending on which degree you want to take, you might require different subjects or grades. So for example, for engineering, you'll have had to have like a specific engineering background degree. For English language requirements, we do require the equivalent of IELTS 6.5 for most programs, and then they'll ask for specific requirements in each subskill. But everything again is listed on the course pages in our website. And we do accept other English language exams. So we accept TOEFL and Pearson's, for example. And I've just put a link there to our English language page because there are exemptions as well. For tuition fees and scholarships, so we're looking at the master's courses. On average, there'll be about £26,000 a year, but this can range from 20,000 to 30,000, for example, depending on the course. Again, they're all listed on the course pages on our website. And then for living expenses, we estimate between £7,000 and £12,000 a year in Newcastle for accommodation and all your travel, food. But obviously, this depends on your lifestyle and how you choose to spend your money. In terms of funding, so as Karen said, we have an agreement with Col Futuro, and that means we offer a 20% discount to students who receive Col Futuro funding, which is obviously a big help. There's also achievement and scholarships from the UK government. There's specific subject scholarships. So if you do an MBA, for example, you can normally apply to an MBA scholarship. And there's also sports scholarships that we offer of up to £5,000, which can go towards your equipment. And I've put a link at the bottom to our fees and funding page at the university because each year we get different scholarships for Latin American students, but they've not actually been announced for 2025 yet. So I would keep looking on that page to see if there's anything available. In terms of the application process, so for postgraduate taught courses, you just apply directly on the website. So you would go to the course that you're interested in. So, for example, software engineering, type in Newcastle Uni and it'll come up with the course. And then you'll scroll down to the bottom and you just click apply and it will take you to our application portal where you'll have to fill in all of your details and upload all of your documents. And then for PhD courses, I've just listed some good websites where our PhD programs will be listed, or you can look through our different faculties and try and find a member of staff who's doing research related to what you're interested in and contact them directly. So they should all have their email addresses on there. In terms of housing, so a really good thing about Newcastle University is that we guarantee accommodation for all international students, as long as you apply before the deadline each year, which is normally in June. So if you get your offer early, you've got plenty of time to apply for accommodation. Most of our accommodations very close to campus, no further than 10 minutes walk, which is obviously, again, really useful. And there's a variety of choices. So you can share a bathroom if you want it to be a cheaper accommodation, or you can have your own bathroom. And then there's also private accommodation available all around the city centre, which is also a really good option. In terms of student life, so one thing I love about Newcastle and the feedback I get from a lot of students when I'm talking to them is that not only do they get a really good degree from Newcastle, but it's about much more than just academia here. They actually get a really good, well-rounded student life. So part of that is because we've got a really good students' union. So in the UK, students' unions are basically entities that arrange social groups for students to become part of. So within this, we have over 200 societies. There's a baking society if you like baking food, for example. There's a Latin American society where you can meet other Latin American students or students who have a interest in Latin America. And then we also have over 60 different sports clubs. So if you're interested in a sport, you can do it from beginners level to advanced. You can compete or you can just do it friendly. And we also have a brand new sports centre, which is also on campus. and you can get a really, really cheap student membership for this. I think it's about £19 a month for a student membership. And there's lots of different sports courts. You can do yoga. We've got a new spin studio. And there's also a strength and conditioning room and facilities, which our Olympians have actually used as well. We have a lot of support services as well. So not only for home students, international students are entitled to all of this support. So we have pre-arrival and arrival support, including an international welcome week. So for example, this year, the International Welcome Week starts on the 9th of September. And there's a lot of different sessions on how to open a bank account, how to register with a doctor in the UK, and they'll do campus tours and city tours so you can really get to know the other students. We also have an airport arrival service as well. So if you come to Newcastle and you arrive at the airport, you can get picked up for free as well if you arrive on certain days. We have a really good health and well-being team. So every different school and faculty has their own well-being officer, and you can go and talk to them for free if you're feeling homesick or overwhelmed. And we also have dogs and cats on campus that you can book a session with to go and stroke, just if you're feeling a little bit stressed, and that can help. And yeah, we have a lot of disability and specialist learning support, financial guidance, and emergency loans. And as I said, just to help make it more safe as well, 24/7 campus security. A lot of the accommodation has 24/7 reception and security as well. And as I previously mentioned, we have an award-winning career service. I do think it's important to note as well that our career service has a startup team. So the startup team basically help you to start up your own business. And we've had really, really good businesses made from this. So some of our students created the brand Castor, which is a sportswear brand, and they created it with the startup team, with help from the startup team. And now the Newcastle United Football Club actually wear the sportswear brand. So if you want to find out more as well, as I said, most of the information is on the website. We've got a really, really good website with all of the entry requirements, tuition fees, information about the city life, information about the campus, and international student support. Everything is on the Newcastle University website. We also have some really good virtual activities. So we've got virtual campus tours if you want to have a look at what all of the campus looks like. We have a really, really good YouTube channel, and that can show you the application process for more difficult courses to get onto. We have open days and online events. And also UniBuddy is a really, really good student website. So you can speak to a current student studying your course of interest on this website. And that's kind of the end of the presentation. I'm going to finish by showing you a video from one of the Col Futuro students who is coming to study at Newcastle in September. And then I'll give you some opportunity to ask any questions to me right now. But I also think it's important to note down my email address, and I can put it in the chat as well, just if you have any specific questions. But I'll just exit to show you the video. So Karen, can you see the video now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Hola, soy Paula Martínez, soy arquitecta y especialista en gestión y planificación territorial. Hace un tiempo decidí que quería hacer mi maestría en Urban Planning en Inglaterra, ya que es uno de los pioneros en este tema. Y buscando las distintas opciones, encontré la Universidad de Newcastle, que se alineaba muy bien a mis objetivos, a mi perspectiva de la planeación urbana, que tienen distintos enfoques. Uno de estos es la planeación global, y ese es el que a mí me gustaría, y es la mayor razón por la que escogí Newcastle, además que es muy buena en el ranking de planeación y ciencias del urbanismo. Y todo esto lo pude realizar acompañada de Col Futuro, que fue la entidad que me permitió poder alcanzar mis metas y quien creyó en mí.
So yeah, that's Paula. She's coming to study with us in September, and Culfutura have helped her a lot as well, but I've also guided her through the process. So if you are interested in applying, definitely email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat and pass it to Karen as well. Or you can email the general inbox for Americas. But yeah, I'll just let you know when all of the deadlines are for accommodation, for example. And yeah, but does anybody have any questions right now? Want to put them in the chat, and then I'll go back to Karen.
Okay, Lucy, thank you. Thank you very much for all the information that you
Thank you.
have given us. So now, yeah, we have some questions in the chat. I don't know if you want to read it in Spanish or if you do want to respond it in Spanish or you feel comfortable in English.
I can try. My Spanish is not perfect, but
yeah.
Ok, el valor que muestran del máster es anual o total del programa. Lo siento por mi acento. Sí, es anual, pero en Inglaterra los másters duran un año, entonces es el valor por un año, pero sí. Y hi, I'm interested in the MSc in marketing. What is the reputation of this program? Do you know if anyone from Conocida has studied this program? This year, no one is coming to study marketing from Colfuturo, but I do know Colombian students have studied it in the past. We do have a very, very good ranking for marketing. The exact ranking will be on our pages, but our business school in general, which is the school that marketing is inside, is triple accredited, which makes it one of the best business schools in the world. And we have a really, really good employer reputation within the UK. So, for example, I know for L'Oreal, it's a French cosmetic brand, but it's known all over the world. So our marketing students have gone on to work for L'Oreal, and L'Oreal only visit 3 universities in the UK now, and one of them is Newcastle. So I hope that answers your question. That was for Alejandra as well. And ¿se puede financiar qué exactamente? El máster, hay muchas opciones. Por ejemplo, puedes aplicar para Colfuturo, que pueden ayudarte con el valor del programa, pero también hay becas con el gobierno de Inglaterra que se llama Chevening. Y también tenemos becas dentro de Newcastle, pero ya no sabemos los valores de esas becas. Creo que voy a saber en septiembre y voy a compartir las detalles con Karen. Pero sí, hay muchas opciones y Colfuturo es una buena opción para estudiantes de Colombia. ¿Y cuál es la duración estimada en tiempo? Doctorados, ¿cuáles son los doctorados son más complicados porque depende realmente de lo que quieres estudiar, pero normalmente decimos entre 3 y 4 años para doctorados. Y también es difícil decir porque hay doctorados donde pueden ganar dinero como un trabajo, pero hay que buscarlos en internet. Y si no, es más o menos lo mismo precio que los másters.
Bueno, Lucy, muchas gracias de nuevo. Pues tengo un par de preguntas adicionales que nos han hecho a través de redes sociales.
¿Sí?
Entonces, ¿hay algún problema si los estudiantes viajan con su familia o pareja?
Sí, esa pregunta es también bastante complicada porque depende del programa. Por ejemplo, en enero, el gobierno inglés han dicho que ya no pueden viajar con un compañero de familia o pareja para másters, por ejemplo. Pero si es un programa de research, ¿cómo se dice? No sé. Sí.
¿Investigación?
Y sí, investigación sí se puede. Entonces, depende realmente del programa, pero para másters normalmente no, salvo si, por ejemplo, tu pareja también es estudiante.
Ok, listo, perfecto, muchas gracias.
Nada.
Y la pregunta, bueno, tú lo mencionaste ahorita con el doctorado, pero ¿los estudiantes pueden trabajar mientras hacen su programa de maestría, por ejemplo?
Sí, por supuesto. Entonces, en Inglaterra, con el visado estudiantil, puedes trabajar 20 horas a la semana y puedes ganar bastante bien porque en Inglaterra el salario mínimo por hora es 11 libras. Entonces ha subido bastante y sí, puedes trabajar 20 horas.
Súper bien. Bueno, pues Lucy, we don't have any more questions. So thank you so much for being here again. And
Yeah.
maybe if you want to make some advice, final advice for people, for attendees.
Yeah. So I would say that studying abroad is probably one of the best experiences that you can do in your whole life. And it's also probably one of the easiest ways to experience another country because the student visa is one of the more easy ones to obtain. And it will change your life. And I would just really encourage people to look into the different options and really try and study abroad if that's something they're interested in, because you grow so much as a person. And Newcastle is also a perfect place to do it. I'm from Newcastle, so people might say I'm biased, but I can let people talk to current Colombian students we have, for example, who've come through Col Futuro or who've come by themselves. And I talk to them all the time, and the sentiment that I get is that they do love Newcastle. It's a very friendly city, vibrant. And like I said, we have a really good academic reputation, but you get a lot more out of it than just academics. So that's maybe also my last piece of advice is that when you're looking for your university, look at the rankings and look at the different programs, but also think about the life that you want around that as well. And yeah, of course, as well, ask me any questions. Can I just put my email in the chat? Yep.
Yes, of course.
And yeah, and obviously apply and take advantage of the funding. So Col Futuro is a very, very good option for Colombian students. And most of the Colombian students that we do have at postgraduate level do actually come through Col Futuro. So definitely look into applying for that.
Perfect, Lucy. Thank you so much for your disposition, for your time, for all the value information. So we hope to see you in the next opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
A todos los asistentes, muchas gracias también por su participación, por su interés, sus preguntas. Para Ana María y para todas las personas que tienen preguntas sobre Colfuturo y el programa Crédito Beca, el día de mañana, sábado, estaremos haciendo una charla precisamente de este programa a las 9:30. Así que pues estén muy pendientes a los eventos que están en nuestra página web y regístrense a ellos. Muchas gracias de nuevo y nos vemos en una siguiente oportunidad.